Hi, I'm Ed. Welcome to UK Impacts. Just a brief rundown of my competition 2-2. It's a CZ457. I bought it from Rifleman's in down the southwest coast. It's a Warrior chassis with a match grade chamber barrel. I've got tier 1 mounts on, a standard factory trigger with a trigger spring in from, I think it's that Aussie guy, for the light and trigger spring. It's super simple to put in yourself. At the moment I've got a MDE tuner on there, although you will see me in the videos running an EC tuner with a little adapter, so I'm going to give this a go, seeing as it's a bit of a bigger tuner. Other than that, yeah, great rifle, pretty accurate. I'll do another video at some point with ammo testing. I use Lapua, Midas. When I chronograph them, they run at about 1060, 1066. I'll pull that up in another video, but while I was showing this off, I'm changing my scope from a Kahles 5x25 MOA to a Kahles 5x25 DLR. Just going to give me a little bit easier to go through the clicks while doing PRS as opposed to MOA for some of the targets that you'll see in the other videos on the stages, especially the really long ones over 200 meters. One of the stages I had 51 MOAs worth of elevation on the furthest target, so trying to spin the dial all the way around to massive numbers and looking at the smaller hash marks or a busier turret, it's just a little bit easier in MOA. In mil. So I'm going to swap that out. So while I was here, I thought I'd show you how I lap scope rings. So this is a kit I bought from Brownells, and the first stage is just to insert the guides. They go in from both ends. Leave them so they're just about to touch, and then tighten them both down. I only do one screw on each side. These are tier 1 mounts, and you'll see they're pretty good, but I'm trying to eke out any and every little bit of advantage I possibly can. So there we go. If I just grab the camera and bring you in a sec, you should be able to see that they're almost touching, almost perfectly in line with each other, and that's what you want, but me being very picky, they are slightly off. So what I'm going to do is just lap them out. So I'll get this set up and come back. So this is what you get in the kit. You got the 2 guides, the main rod, to which you add some lapping compound. This I think is 400 grit, no sorry, 220 grit. Just get some of that on there. You can see where I've used quite a bit of this on one of the scopes before on the mounts, just to try and help them out a little bit. Try and keep it all lined up and concentric with each other. So this is just a machine bar. Once you've spread some of this on here, there's some of the compound. I feel it's quite gritty. Just rub that round. That's absolutely loads. And then you put that into the scope. So now we've got that on there. The first job I'm going to do, just to make sure don't get any lapping compound into the action, is just tape this over. So just quick and dirty. Just want to keep any lapping compound from going on the running surfaces. That'll do for me. So you put this in. Might just need to loosen those off a fraction. What we're going to do once we've got this in and lined up like so, I'm going to tighten down one side on both, Just feel for movement. Right, that's getting stiff. Yeah. Insert the bar. Once the bar's in, super simple. Make sure you've got the gun in a vise. The vise is nice and tight, and then you're literally just going to move it forwards and backwards, giving it a bit of a rotate as you move. You can hear that grinding. That's just wearing away some of the aluminium on the inside. That's starting to get a bit light, so just give it a little turn on both. Stiffened up again, and this is probably going to take you something like maybe 15 minutes, maybe 10, because these were really close already. We'll come back in a sec. Okay, so I've pretty much finished now. This is nice and loose. I was going for maybe 10 minutes. The jacket's had to come off. I was sweating. It takes a bit of force to do this, so once you're finished, just carefully remove these without dropping everything on the floor, which is what I usually do. And that's that. We'll put that back in the back. Right then, to get this off, it's like a greasy waxy compound, and the best thing I've found so far is just a little bit of WD. Gets it straight off, but with everything gunsmith related that I do, I think WD is the way in the future. I've tried all the others, all the different lubes, sizing waxes. It's just, they're all so much aggro. For me, WD all the way. Great for cleaning, great for getting water off components, giving it a light lube, keep on top of your gun cleaning. And for anyone out there with a 2.2 that doesn't clean it after every firing, I think you're mad. Same as centre fire. Every time I've shot the gun, it comes back in and has a thorough clean. I might do a video on that. If you're going to do that, we'll have to talk about bore scopes. But there you go, you can see where some of the material's been removed on the inside. It's nice and shiny. If I get one of these and give this a little wipe out, should be able to see it's removed a little bit of the paint finish. I could probably do with going at this for another 10 minutes or so, to be honest. But you'll see there. So the purpose of this is just so when this is bolted down and holding the scope tube, that everything's lined up properly and there's as little movement as possible. Right, I'll carry on with this, give it a good clean down. And while I remember, once you've finished cleaning all these up so they're all nice and shiny, as you can see, the best thing I like to do to remove any residue oil from the inside is a little bit of brake cleaner. I've got it in an aerosol, so give that a quick spray, quick wipe over. That removes all of the WD-40, so you haven't got oil on a bearing surface that's going to have recoil transmitted through it. So they're nice and clean. Do the same on these. You can see there where I keep a light oil on the barrel. This will just remove it, so great for cleaning down your gun, good for getting carbon out and using on your patches when you clean. While I remember, we'll put these back in, set it back up and have a look to see how much closer they are together. That's one. looks lovely. So when you take these off, remember the orientation that you had them in. If anything, it's probably a good idea to put yourself a little witness mark while doing it. That's perfect. Nicely aligned, nice and tight. It's not going anywhere. Yep, good job. Next one is to put the scope on when I get it. I'll show you how I line and level a scope up. And then the next thing I might do is a little video on the different tuners and the ammo that I use, which is Lapua Midas, and how tuners have a big effect on group size. The more expensive the ammunition that you buy, the better quality. It's just going to be more consistent feet per second, and from that, just the tolerances from the manufacturing, the case, the heads, the weight, the powder charge, everything's just more consistent, but it's also a lot more expensive. But if you're trying to compete, you want to use the best ammo that you can. Right, thanks for watching.